All right, we're going to move on to the next chapter, but if you have a comment before I do that, go ahead and drop it in the chat and we'll address it real quick. Otherwise, we're going to move on to the next chapter, which is effective communication. Now, I didn't pull a quote out of this one. There's a couple of them that I didn't pull quotes from because the bottom line was we're not trying to give away all of Robert's strategies. Like, I want you to go buy your own book and I want you to go support him on the website. And so there was everything that I was looking at in this chapter that I wanted to say, it was just so juicy. And so I didn't want to share that. But Philip, let us know what you thought when you read this chapter about communication.
Well, what I picked up on it was that it was speaking more to the young men who were reading the book rather than the parents.
Okay.
Because as I started reading more into it, I saw the whole where it says to speak respectfully to your parents. Because how you speak to your parents sets the tone for how the conversation goes out and how you're heard by your parents. If they will listen to what you have to say, or if they will think you're just rambling on or you're just very angry and not take it too seriously, or something like that. Because it's just heavy. I don't know. Be good with your words, I guess. Whenever you're speaking with your parents, be respectful.
And if you don't know how to say something in a respectful way, how can you still show respect to your parents but get your point out?
That's a good question, actually. I would think it would be with all due respect.
Oh, goodness, no.
Which never works.
No, not from your... Well, I think that's going to be parent to parent dependent. And I think a parent and a child should have that conversation before that child becomes a young man or a young woman. Yeah. And I'm actually really kind of surprised that you don't have a ready answer, because as you were growing up, I would always say, that's not a very respectful way to say it. Let's find another respectful way to say it. And so I think for me, one of the things would be to be calm, not be all abrupt in anger, although I admit he does get it from his mama.
That's another. We can talk about that later.
About all the things you get from me that I don't like that you got from me.
Well, there's some things that we'll talk about later.
No, let's talk about it now. Inquiring minds want to know. What are some other things? One is anger. One is being quick to anger. I admit it.
One thing is being quick to assumptions.
I'm not.
Yes, you are very quick to assumptions.
Am I?
With me, my brother, and with Dad.
What?
You were very quick to assumptions. Yes.
Oh dear. Like what?
Well, anytime one of us gets defensive or anything like that, like no, we did not do this or something like that, you always think, yes, we did do that. Well, I mean, if you're getting accused of something, obviously your heart rate is going to rise. If you didn't do it, your heart rate is going to rise, because it's like, why is this person accusing me? What did I do? That I didn't do anything. Obviously, you're going to get really defensive. But the way you see it, if somebody gets so defensive, if they didn't do it, they wouldn't be getting so defensive about it.
Hit dog hollers.
But that's not everybody. That's especially not everybody in this family.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. I'm not.
What you're saying is, when I get upset, when I come home after a long day or a long trip, and there's pee all over the toilet, and I talk to all three of y'all because I don't know which one did it. You're really saying is, I didn't do it. Please stop putting me in these conversations.
Oh no, I'm not saying that. And no, I don't do it because I'm not going to explain it because I'd be very rude. But another thing, last night when you came into my room, or didn't come into my room, but you assumed I was doing something that I shouldn't have been doing.
You were. Wait a second. You were on your iPad.
I was not doing something I was not.
You were not supposed to have your iPad.
After these last 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, however long it's been, what I was informed was that I would lose my phone privileges and my iPad privileges. I would lose that for a week. As soon as I get home.
Who said that?
As soon as I would lose my phone privileges forever. Or not.
That's what Mom said. That's what Mom said. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, Dad ran interference on that one, because I was about to cut your phone off.
But I would lose my phone privileges for however long. I wouldn't have it during school, during at home, or whatever. Whenever I got my iPad, because we have a school iPad, I would not have that at home for about a week to a week and a half. And then, as if I continued to show that I was going to be respectful, get my work done, all that stuff, that I would be able to get more responsibility back. And eventually, after about a week to 2 weeks, they stopped asking for my iPad back, and now I wouldn't get on it all the time because I didn't really have a need to, because I was still in trouble. But I figured after the next couple of weeks of them not.
You figured. Okay, go ahead. Go
Well,
ahead.
because they had
This is
stopped.
educational
They
for
had
me.
stopped asking for it every time after we got home. That my dad would stop asking for it every time I got home, and so I was like, okay, I'm not going to be on it a lot because that would be just, well, obviously you're going to take it away from me. But maybe I've developed I've developed more trust that I now seem like I deserve because I've gotten more.
Yeah. I can see where you thought this, but then you hid it when I came in.
Well, no, I didn't hide it. What I did.
I heard the papers and I knew where to look.
No, this is what I did, because I heard you and Dad talking outside. I heard out here. I heard y'all talking, and y'all said something about the dishes. And see, my thought process is I was gonna come out once it was 8:30. I was gonna come out to come get my phone, see if I needed to do anything, get my phone back, because there wasn't really any dishes in the sink at that time. And so when I heard dishes, I figured, well, maybe I'll get my phone sooner. So I was like, all right, let me get out there. And then as soon as I was reaching for the door, you knocked on the door.
Yes.
And then I opened the door and you were like, hey, what are you doing?
Because I heard you rustle paper.
Because I had paper on my bed.
And it ended up over the iPad.
I had paper on my bed.
That ended up over the iPad.
So
I get where you're coming from, but I hope you can see where I was like, he knew he shouldn't have been on that. It sounds like you didn't, but I hope you can see why I thought you did.
I mean, I can see where you're coming from.
Because you hid the iPad.
I did not hide it.
You did not drop the iPad on top of the thing and come into the door. You hid it under papers and a blanket and a hoodie or something.
I didn't.
Because I had to move stuff to get to it.
That was literally just.
So this is an example of communication, and how your actions communicated one thing to me, and how our actions, like Dad not asking specifically for the iPad, communicated something else to you.
Well, because normally he would be like, all right, now that we're home, go get a device for me. And so I'd be like, yes, sir, I give it. And then he stopped asking. And so I was like, well, if he stopped asking, then I'll just leave it in my room until he asks for it. And he never asked for it. So I was like, okay, well, I finally built this back up. Now I just got to work on getting the phone back. And then everything will go back to being normal, except that I won't be getting in trouble. And now I've got
really good. Mr. Kevin's on your side.
Now I've got the motivation I've gotten my motivation to do better, to get straight A's again. Back in school, I've got some really good motivation, and I can see. So that's another thing.
Yeah, I think getting those contacts really help. Okay, so to learn respectful communication, try what Philip said 2 chapters ago. I want to say this, but not sure how to say it respectfully. Yeah, I think that's a good way to do it, right? Because I do that a lot of times. There's a lot of things that I want to say, and I'm in the moment, and I'm in the energy, and I know the way I'm about to say it is going to make people mad, and I don't want to make people mad unnecessarily. I don't have a problem. Let's not get it twisted. I don't have a problem making people mad. That's part of what I do. That's part of my personality. It's why I'm good at finding issues in organizations and helping people solve those issues, improve their processes, their people, and their profits. That's how I can be good at what I do. That's a gift that the Lord has given me, is not being worried about making people mad. But at the same time, I don't want to make you mad unnecessarily. I only want to make you mad intentionally. Okay.
I think I got that from her.
Yeah.
At school, I do be trying to find ways to make people mad.
Well, I don't just try to yank people's chain, but I want to know who you are and what you're made out of. And if we're going to do business together, or if we're going to do something together, I want to understand how you respond when you disagree with me. I want to understand, are you a yes man or a yes woman, or are you somebody that I can trust to give me your honest opinion in these little things, so that I know that I'll get it in the big things. All right.